more coffee?
Morning, Miss Madison.
Oh, please, don't be so formal. Would you like some more coffee?
Yes. Looks like your brother was right after all.
Oh, about what?
Well, Brian said you could actually be friendly. I mean, the way you behaved yesterday was a little difficult to tell.
Well, I must have seemed very rude to you. But, no cream and sugar?
No, thank you.
Since then, I've learned who my friends are.
Well, I'm glad you realize I'm on your side.
Well, I never thought I'd be saying this, but I am very glad you're here.
Well, hope you realize if I'm going to be of any help, you're going to have to cooperate.
Oh, don't worry. My days of playing hide-and-go-seek are over.
Steve.
Good morning, Brian.
Nice to see you on the job.
Can I get you some coffee?
Sure, thanks.
Paige was just about to tell me what happened last night, from the time she stormed out of here until the attempt on her life was made.
Well, the reason why I stormed out of here was because I was really feeling pressured. Everybody seemed to know what was best for me.
Turned out we were right.
So I got in the car and I drove until I saw the motel, and then I got out and I took a room.
And that's when you contacted your friend from the group.
Yeah. I had to get in touch with him and tell him that he had nothing to worry about from me.
Of course he didn't, since you told the district attorney a bunch of lies about people that didn't exist.
Paige, when your friend arrived, what happened?
Oh, we talked for a little while, and then we went out and got something to eat. You know, I hadn't been out in a real long time, and I felt safe, and I wanted to go out and have some fun.
So that's when you decided to go to the disco.
Yeah. God, the place was packed, and by the time the last dance came around, Jed and I had separated, and I was dancing with some stranger.
Yeah, it happens all the time in places like that. Whoever else is on the dance floor is your partner.
You were lucky. You were very, very lucky. Thank God Calvin saw this guy with a knife before anything could happen.
Well, I owe a great deal to your friend. He saved my life twice now.
I understand the man was electrocuted.
Yeah. Well, I know Calvin would have wished he could have taken the guy alive.
It's just so horrible when you realize, I mean, that's two of them dead.
Paige, who are them?
That's one thing they don't know yet. There was no identification on either one of the bodies. I don't think there's much doubt about their mutual connection. Don't you agree, Paige?
Oh, Paige, you can't have any doubts. They had to be part of Tobias's gang.
Okay. I guess there just doesn't seem to be any other explanation.
Well, nothing's going to happen to you from now on. I promise you that.
Steve, I'd love to get my hands on this Tobias jerk. I'll bet all he had to do was snap his fingers to get those wolves on Paige.
Well, you're wrong, Brian.
Oh, Paige, come on. That gang worshipped Tobias like a god. They never questioned what he told them to do. They just went out and obeyed.
If the group is behind these attempts, I'm sure it is without Tobias's knowledge.
How can you be so sure?
Because Tobias wouldn't hurt me.
Even if you posed a threat to him?
Paige, Tobias is a thief and a murderer. You make him sound like Little Mary Sunshine.
Tobias cared for me. He wouldn't hurt me. Oh, Brian, we weren't lovers. Those gossip columns were all wrong.
Were they really?
Oh, he might have been interested, but you know I never encouraged him. You've got to believe that.
Just comrades in arms, huh?
I believed in him, but I was never in love with him. Who is it?
The maid, ma'am.
Edith?
Louise, ma'am.
Come in.
Good day.
Good day to you, whoever you are.
My name is Louise Anderson, Miss Patterson. I'm the new maid.
Oh, so Owen did replace Edith.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I just got a call from the agency this morning. They told me to come out here and speak to Mr. Madison. He interviewed me and asked if I could start immediately.
Well, Miss Anderson, Louise, I hope you'll like working here.
Oh, I'm sure I will, ma'am. I can't tell you what an honor and a privilege it is to be able to work for a couple as famous as you and Mr. Madison.
What do you have there?
Some eggs and toast. Mr. Madison told me you didn't feel much like breakfast before. I thought you might be hungry by now.
Yes, no, I didn't have much of an appetite when I awoke. I was a bit under the weather last night.
As long as you're feeling better now, that's what counts.
Oh, I think we'll get along very well, Louise. At least you care about my well-being.
It's exciting to be around a real movie star. I hope you don't mind my saying so, but you are one of my all-time favorites.
You are a fine judge of talent, Louise.
I have seen every movie you've made at least 3 times, and what's really amazing is that you're more beautiful in person than you were on the screen.
Let's not get carried away, dear.
I hope I'm not being too forward, but do you think that someday you might be able to tell me what it was like to work with all those leading men?
Well, if you want to know the real story, we'll have to wait until some time when my husband is out of the house.
Oh. You know, when I tell my friends who I'm working for, they'll never believe me. Do you think I could impose upon you for an autograph?
Oh, well, I think I can manage that. I'll make it out to my dear friend Louise. How's that?
Oh, thank you, Miss Patterson. I mean, Mrs. Madison.
Oh, see who that is, will you?
Louise. May I come in?
Hello, Owen. That'll be all for now, Louise.
I'll be up in a while to clear that tray.
I hope Louise meets with your approval.
Oh, she's a bit starry-eyed, but I think she'll do fine. Can you believe it? She actually asked for my autograph. It's the first time that's happened in years.
Obviously, that made you feel better.
Well, I still have a bit of a headache.
Hangovers have a tendency to linger, but of course I don't have to tell you that.
Yes, well, you've had a few of your own, darling. You remember the morning you pulled up a chair and stuck your head inside the refrigerator? Your hair smelled of mustard all day.
Well, I'm glad to see you're in such a good mood.
And you're not, obviously. You've come up here to spank me for last night. Well, don't bother. I feel as rotten about it as you do. Falling off the wagon is a very bruising experience.
I see. And now we're going to get the speech about never touching a drop again.
As a matter of fact...
Oh, please, don't bother. Really, I've heard it all before.
Owen, I was so frightened last night. And so worried. I just simply couldn't stand the pressure.
I can assure you, Nola, that we all found those attempts on Paige's life very unnerving.
I'm so ashamed of myself.
Yes,
for
well,
last
I'm
night.
ashamed of you, too. Not to mention disappointed.
It was a solitary lapse. It won't happen again.
Oh, God, I wish I could believe that.
Owen, I need you to forgive me. I want to be strong. And I get so much of my strength from you.
Look, the next time you are in trouble, you run to me and not to the liquor cabinet, okay?
I will, I promise, Owen.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy. The Paige is back, safe and sound.
It would be nice if you tell her yourself.
I'll come down in a little bit.
Okay. Oh, you might be interested to know that Louise isn't the only new addition to the household.
Really?
And because of that, things are going to be a lot more secure around here. Paige let me retain that bodyguard, and I've asked Mr. Guthrie to move in with us. See you later.
So it's all set? Then Jamie can stay with you this weekend?
Mm-hmm. Look, we're not exactly set up for house guests, but if Jamie doesn't mind roughing it a little, Draper and I would love to have her.
Oh, listen, that is terrific. And you and Jamie have really hit it off. He talks about you all the time. That is, he would if he could talk.
Yeah, well, Jamie is adorable. Oh, Raven, you won't forget to bring over that portable crib you said you have? We can set it up in the second room.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Listen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this.
Well, it's my pleasure.
You know, it's going to be really nice for Logan and I to get away for a weekend, and knowing that Jamie is in good hands means that we can relax and have a good time, you know?
Well, I'm glad to be of help.
Well, listen, I know that I'll never be able to pay you back in quite the same way. But if there's ever anything that I can do for you, you just ask.
Thanks, Raven, thanks. Look, I can't stay on the phone anymore. I've got a million things to do in the house.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Jamie says bye-bye. Bye.
Oh, pretty picture.
More.
No, less. I got a date and I'm late.
Who with?
Paige Madison. We'll talk a little business. A little matter of perjury.
This case is taking up an awful lot of your time.
Yeah, it is. It's going to take even more time because I got to drive over to the Madison place this morning. We're keeping her under wraps until we're sure she's in the clear.
You know what? I'm jealous.
Jealous?
Yeah. April's in her new house now. You're going to spend the afternoon in a mansion. And I want to know, when are we going to get rid of this dump?
Well, as soon as I have time, I will look for a place.
Well, when?
I don't know. I got a busy week. I got a busy month, for that matter. I'll tell you what.
What?
We cancel the reservations at Palace Park or whatever it is. And we'll look for an apartment.
No, I'm looking forward to that.
I had a feeling you might say
Yeah.
that. Tell you what, though.
What?
If Geraldine can look after Jamie, I will take you to dinner tonight. All right?
Okay, that'll be nice.
Okay. You like the Unicorn Club, so why don't you make reservations for 7:30?
Oh, okay. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
I will. You too. See you later.
Okay.
Unicorn.
Working hard, Mr. Dorn.
Raven, how nice to hear from you.
Well, you're not only going to hear from me, you're going to see me tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. My husband decided to take me out to dinner, and guess where? The Unicorn. So, if you could get a free table, how about 7:30?
Oh, that could most definitely be arranged. You're certainly going to brighten my day, even if you are in the company of your husband.
Well, you know, you and my husband will be spending a lot of time together in the next 2 weeks. Maybe you two could become good friends.
I think it's inevitable that we should run into each other at Palace Park before they're becoming good friends.
Well, then I assume that the Dorns will be going there?
You're only half right, Raven. Only one Dawn is going to be there.
I don't understand.
I'm happy to say I'll be there next weekend, but unfortunately, my wife Margot won't be able to make it. Margot was quite enthused about our being able to get away for the weekend up into the country. But then she was reminded about this broadcasters convention she was invited to attend as guest speaker, and it was too late for her to change plans.
Do you mean to tell me that she is actually going to let you go alone this weekend?
Why not? Margot and I have complete faith in each other. She trusts me implicitly.
Oh, God. I suppose that what she doesn't know won't hurt her, huh?
You know, Raven, that Margot's absence could turn into our advantage.
Look, Elliot, you may be alone, but I won't be.
Just think how fortuitous it would be if Logan were unable to accompany you.
Yes, but Logan doesn't really like separate vacations.
You're a very persuasive woman, Raven.
No, I think Logan would be a little suspicious if I locked him in our apartment this weekend.
I know the way he reacts to you. You could talk him into anything.
Well, I don't know. I think the only way it would work is if his workload was so heavy that he couldn't go.
You see, the wheels are turning already.
Well, listen, I'll see you tonight anyway.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to it. Until tonight. Come in.
Hey, Harriet said you wanted to see me when I finished setting up.
Yes, Mickey, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Do you know of anyone you could recommend to take your place behind the bar? See, I'm going away next weekend, and I want you to substitute for me at the Unicorn.
Oh, I'm very flattered, Mr. Dorn. But why me?
Well, in the short time I've known you, Mickey, I've come to consider you a very trustworthy employee.
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
So, do you think you can handle it?
Sure, I'll do a great job for you.
Great. I'll fill you in on the details later on, okay?
Yeah. Oh, isn't it kind of unusual that you and Mr. Antoine are taking off at the same time?
Oh, Antoine will be here.
Well, I hope I'm not out of line, but, I mean, how come all of a sudden I'm in charge?
You see, Mickey, Antoine likes to think of himself as the second in command. But I am the one who does the hiring and the firing around here.
He's not going to like it when he finds out.
Oh, if Antoine doesn't like it, he can go to hell.
Told us before was false.
That's correct. I made it all up. Look, I'm sorry.
And I thought that by this time the police would be out there rounding up these freaks.
Well, I didn't want to see anybody go to jail.
You lied to me, Paige. She lied to all of us. That's what bothers me.
Yes, Paige, these men put their reputation on the line for you, and you decide to go out and protect the murderers.
At the time, I thought that was the right thing to do.
Paige, that gang of yours conned you from day one, and you bought their act, but good.
I believe that we were really trying to help those guerrilla fighters depose that dictator.
With a bunch of guns, it didn't work. All you were doing was grabbing yourselves a quick profit.
And that's what they intended to do.
I also don't believe that I was set up as some kind of sacrificial lamb.
Oh, no, it was just your bad luck. You were the only one caught.
4 separate attempts. 4 made on your life. You still think these people are the good guys?
No. No, I don't suppose they could be, and all they want to do is see me dead.
Well, that's not going to happen, Paige. We'll see to that.
Hey, what happens now, Logan?
Well, I would say that because of Miss Madison's bad faith, the deal is off.
Now, just a minute,
Brian.
Mr. Swift.
Look, Logan, if she gave you some information that was usable, would you consider reinstating the deal?
If it was usable, if it was proved to be usable, I mean, she really has to want to cooperate this time.
Well, I do.
We'll see. If you tell us one thing that doesn't check out, just one thing, then the deal is off for good.
I'll tell you everything I know, and it'll all be the truth. I swear it.
All right, first of all, I want you to tell Logan exactly what this Jed Smith's role in the gang was.
He was Tobias's right-hand man. He and Tobias were very close.
So theoretically, we get a hold of Smith, and we're halfway to Tobias.
The reason why I got in touch with Jed was because we had been very good friends, and I wanted to tell him that he had nothing to worry about.
With friends like that.
Brian, Paige, you told us that Tobias will never hurt you. And yet he sends his lieutenant to try to kill you.
We don't know that Jed was responsible for what happened last night.
How can you say that?
Because some people in the gang might want to hurt me, but not Jed. I had told him he had nothing to worry about.
As long as you're alive, you pose a threat to them, Paige.
Paige, it's possible that he visited you with an execution squad waiting in another car.
No, because I went outside the hotel, and when we left, I made sure we weren't being followed.
Paige, while you were at the restaurant or the disco, did this guy Jed go off by himself?
No. Well, just to the bar.
Logan, he could have gone to a phone booth and called somebody.
Well, it sure looks to me like she was set up.
Excuse me. There's a phone call for Miss Madison.
Thank you, Louise. Hello.
Paige, it's Jed.
Oh.
Can you talk?
No.
Well, then listen. Just listen. Don't say a word. Paige, you have to believe me. I had nothing to do with what happened last night. It was just one of those creeps that Tobias picked up to use for muscle. Toby didn't know anything about it. He called me and told me.
Really?
He's here in town, and he wants to see you. We'll arrange a meeting. You just call me at that number that I gave you, as soon as you can, okay?
Who was it?
Oh, nobody important.
Well, it seems like you were very interested in what nobody important had to say.
You know, it was just another one of those reporters.
sorry, Paige. I don't want to do this. I really don't.
April, that's the third time this week.
I know it, Draper. Look, I'm really sorry, but it just can't be helped.
You say the same thing every night you have to work late.
Well, Draper, there's a lot that has to be done around here.
If you're going to be that damn busy, maybe Margot should hire you an assistant.
Look, I assure you that after this week, things will calm down.
You keep saying MON's such a small station, yet you work 12-hour days.
Draper, Margot is going on that broadcast convention, and there's a lot of information that's got to be compiled for a speech she's going to make there.
I'm just surprised she doesn't insist on you going with her.
Draper, I wouldn't be of any help to Margot there. And besides, look, she's giving me a crash course on how to keep the fort down while she's gone.
Look, how late are you going to be?
I really don't know. Look, if you really want to get home, go ahead. I can take a bus. There's no problem.
No. I have work to do here. Just call me when you're through. I'll talk to you later.
Ready to get to work on that Harper brief?
Oh, never mind, Mike. I can handle that myself tonight.
I thought you wanted me to lend you a hand so we could both get out of here on time tonight.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be staying later. April just called. She's working again late.
Sounds like her new job is keeping her busy.
No, Mike. It's not her new job that's keeping April busy. It's April's mother. Mike, Margot's using that job she gave April to break up my marriage.
That's a pretty serious charge, Counselor.
Well, that's what's happening, Mike. I'm convinced.
Just because April has to work late?
Oh, no, I understand that. I do it myself, Mike, but every night?
She's only been on the job a few days, Draper.
Oh, it's a pattern, Mike. I can see it coming. It's getting worse, not better.
Well, I guess the staff at the station isn't very large. April's the new girl, and maybe she's just being a bit overeager.
No, Mike. It's Margot who's being too eager. She's eager to use this job to drive a wedge between me and April. She would like nothing better, Mike, believe me.
Well, you have to admit that Margot is giving her daughter a marvelous opportunity.
And don't forget the money, Mike. I mean, April will never let me forget it.
You did say it would come in handy with the new house and all that.
That's what gets me, Mike. I know that Margot has all the reasonable arguments in this situation. Now, I have nothing but a gut feeling, Mike. A conviction that something insidious is happening.
Draper, has it ever occurred to you that what's taking place is just natural?
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
I know the circumstances are kind of unusual. Margot coming back into April's life after abandoning her as a baby. Trying to be the devoted mother after 25 years of neglect.
And April accepting?
But don't you think that's only natural, too?
Oh.
April missed a vital element in her childhood, the loving care of a mother. Now, suddenly, it's being offered to her, and she's grateful.
Overwhelmed.
And at the same time, Margot is discovering what she missed, too. She's trying to make up for lost time. Wants to be a mother again. They're both responding to the same need in the same way.
But they're leaving me out, Mike.
Yeah. I guess that was bound to happen. All right, naturally you feel hurt, left out.
Hey, look, Mike, I'm not a kid. I know I know I don't own April. But I'm surprised that she can't see through this woman, can't see the inherent selfishness of a woman. A mother who would desert her own child. Hell, my father! I'm sorry. This is a law office and not an analyst's couch.
I have the feeling you're doing your own analyzing, Draper. That's probably for me, Draper. Take it. Yes, I know. Oh, Oh, yes, I was expecting him. Would you ask him to wait in my office, and I'll be there in just a moment. Thank you.
So, excuse me, it's a little late for clients, isn't it?
Well, it's not a client I'm seeing. It's a Mr. Philip Seward.
Seward. The name rings a bell.
I assume you've heard of the law firm Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside.
Oh, yeah, who hasn't? When I was graduating from law school, I tried to get a clerkship there. They wouldn't even give me an interview.
That's surprising, since they usually take their clerks from Ivy League schools.
Yeah, you never said anything about knowing him.
Oh, I don't. I got a letter from him the other day. Said he was going to be in Monticello on business and wanted to get together for a chat.
It's impressive.
Although he didn't say so in his letter, I got the distinct impression this might be a recruiting mission.
Well, maybe I should start looking around for another partner?
Why? I have no intention of leaving. No, I'm only seeing Mr. Seward as a courtesy. Now, look, why don't you come and meet him? That way you could discuss that letter of rejection with him.
I just might do that.
Mr. Seward?
Oh, Mr. Carr.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'd like you to meet my associate, Draper Scott.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, your name sounds familiar to me, young man.
Oh?
Yes, I believe I read it in the newspaper in connection with a couple of recent court cases. Am I correct?
Yes, Draper's been involved in a couple of cases that have gotten quite a bit of publicity.
Yes, let me see. Winter, Austin, and Page Madison.
That's right.
Yes. Well, I was most impressed with the way you handled Miss Austin's defense.
Oh, well, unfortunately, we were dealing with fabricated evidence.
Yes, I know. But of course you had no way of knowing that. No, I think you did a masterful job. I mean, considering the few favorable points you had working for you, you made brick out of straw.
He's doing a fine job in the Page Madison case as well.
Well, of course, when they found out that her testimony was false, the district attorney is perfectly right to revoke the granted immunity, but you are to be complimented, convincing him to give her yet another chance.
Thank you. I'm just doing my best. Mike, I'll talk to you later. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Well, the pleasure's mine. This is a nice young man.
And a fine attorney. Please, won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Now then, Mr. Seward, to what do I owe the honor of this visit?
Oh, Mr. Carr, you and I are both very busy men, so let's not beat around the bush. As I wrote you in my letter, we are in the market for a top-notch lawyer.
So I gathered.
You had the reputation for being one of the best legal minds in this part of the country for a long time. Now, frankly, I was hoping that you might consider moving your base of operations to New York. More specifically, to the offices of Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside.
That would be quite a move.
Well, you see, what we're looking for is someone to take on some of the more important trial cases that we handle. Now, I must say that your courtroom record made it most easy for us to decide who our first choice for the position would be.
That's very flattering.
Yes. I take it you haven't given much consideration to closing up shop here and moving on?
Mr. Seward, life has been very good to me in Monticello.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure it has. And under the best of circumstances, leaving your firm or your town, your family, and your friends would have to be difficult.
Frankly, I've never even considered the possibility seriously.
Well, that may be because you've never had sufficient reason to before today.
What makes you think I would change my mind now?
Well, in all likelihood, you've never been approached with an offer so attractive that you couldn't possibly turn it down.
That would be quite an offer.
Yes, well, Mr. Carr, what I am about to propose is just that. Quite an offer.
All right, Mr. Seward, I'm listening, but don't get your hopes up.
Wow! Look who's still here.
Oh, hi, Nicole. How are you?
I thought you and Draper would be well on your way back to that beautiful new home of yours by now.
Yeah, I'm afraid so did Draper.
Margot is really keeping you busy.
Yeah, well, I'm still learning the ropes. I figure with a couple weeks' experience, these chores will take about half the time.
You wouldn't happen to know where I can find her, do you?
As a matter of fact, I do. She was absolutely exhausted, and I practically had to force her out of the studio. If you want to reach her, I'm sure she's home by now.
No, It's not really urgent.
Both of you have been working above and beyond the call getting ready for this broadcasters convention.
Yeah, well, Margot has asked me to write a summary of this demographics report. Well, 2 weeks ago I didn't even know what demographics were, and now I'm supposed to be able to analyze them.
You certainly come to this job with the right attitude. You're doing a wonderful job.
Really? Thanks.
Listen, April, I know how much you want to prove that you belong. I felt the same way when I came to WMON. But it's not necessary to overwork yourself.
Oh, Nicole, I don't mind it, really.
Huh. Okay, just keep in mind it's the quality and not the quantity
Thank
of your
you.
work that counts.
Thank you. Speaking of quantity, I was hoping to make a dent in that correspondence before I went home. I don't know.
You're impossible. How does Draper feel about you putting in these hours?
Well, he certainly is not crazy about the idea, but I believe, given some time, he'll accept the fact that I have responsibilities too now.
Well, just don't go overboard. Heard of many marriages in this industry going sour because one partner decided to make the studio their second home.
Yeah, but Draper and I will be fine. Listen, Nicole, it's not that I don't want to spend time with Draper, don't get me wrong. It's just that I really do love being here. I don't consider any of this work at all.
I think the newness of your career has something to do with your enthusiasm. It's a great business.
Yep, and it's a great boss, gotta admit that.
Margot treats us all very well.
Nicole, Margot has opened up a whole new life for me, and I just want to be sure that I can please her as much as she's pleased me.
Margot likes to do nice things for people. Well, as a matter of fact, she made me a very nice offer just a little while ago.
Oh, what was that?
A free weekend at Palace Park.
You're kidding.
Oh, she had some reservations that she can't use, and they're already paid in advance.
That's terrific. Well, you're going to take it, aren't you?
I might. Depends on Miles.
Uh-huh. I see. How about a cup of coffee?
All right.
Black?
Yes, please.
You know, bothers me when I think that sometimes people who are so kind can be taken advantage of.
What?
Oh, I didn't mean you.
What did you mean?
Nothing. Nothing.
You don't look too happy, Mr. Dorn.
I have a rather perplexing problem, Mickey.
Well, I listen to all our customers' problems. There's no reason the boss can't bend my ear. If he has a mind to, that is.
Yeah, I suppose I'm too close to the situation to really find a solution. Put yourself in my shoes for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
But before we go on, I must swear you to absolute secrecy.
A bartender never tells.
Mickey, supposing you were in a most unsatisfactory relationship, and you wished to extricate yourself from it, how would you go about it?
Tell the person to take a walk.
It's not that simple. Yet I have to get this person out of my life permanent.
What do you mean by permanently?
I just never want to see his face again, Mickey.
You're not talking about doing anything drastic, are you?
Just what do you mean by drastic?
Do I know the party that you're talking about?
You most certainly do, Mickey.
Look, I hope I'm not out of line, but did you and Mrs. Dorn have a little fight, or?
No, Mickey, it's not Mrs. Dorn. The person I'm talking about is right here in the Unicorn. Antoine. I despise that little fat man, Mickey.
I should have guessed that.
But I just want him to be away from the Unicorn. Nothing more, I can assure you.
Just give him his walking papers.
See, Mrs. Dorn wouldn't take kindly to his dismissal. And I wouldn't want Antoine to be a source of friction between me and my wife.
Well, it looks to me like you're stuck.
If only I could get Antoine to leave of his own accord.
Well, have you told him yet that I'm taking over when you go away for the weekend?
Not yet. I want him to be far away from his kitchen knives when I say that.
Well, you know, he's always thought of himself as second in command here. When he hears about this demotion, he might get sore enough to quit.
One can only hope, Mickey.
You know, I'm not crazy about the little fat man myself. He's a real pain in the neck, but we may just have to learn to grin and bear him.
Oh, some very distinguished guests have just arrived. Now to perform a duty that makes this job worthwhile. Mickey, not a word. Well, what an honor to say that the esteemed district attorney and his lovely wife frequent my little place.
The pleasure is ours.
But I've noticed your name was scratched off our reservations list a few times, Mr.
No
Swift.
reflection on the unicorn, I can assure you.
I am convinced that my husband works harder than anyone in Mayor Finley's administration.
Yes, I know he's had a few major cases back to back.
You better believe it, and he works so late sometimes. I think if I were a jealous wife, I might be a little suspicious.
Oh, with a wife as lovely as Mr. Swift has, he will give no cause for jealousy.
Thank you.
Anyhow, I'm sorry if those last-minute cancellations caused you any problems.
Oh, not at all. We are quite happy to take care of your wife at dinner. You just let us know.
Oh, that's very kind. Perhaps you could look after our little boy, too. We have a son, you know.
Oh, yes, I know. Although I haven't heard much of him.
Well, he's just a little boy. There's nothing much to say. Why don't you join us, please?
Sure, thank you. Well, I like children myself. I love them. But unfortunately, we do not have facilities for them at the Unicorn.
Oh, sounds like Palace Park.
Did you say Palace Park?
Yes, we're going there this weekend.
Oh, really?
Hi, can I get you a drink?
Yes, I would like a very dry martini.
Scotch, rocks?
What a coincidence. So am I.
You're kidding. Well, that's wonderful. What a small world.
It's also a very small resort, which means we'll be running into each other very often.
Well, perhaps the four of us could have dinner sometime.
I'm afraid that wouldn't be possible. You see, Margot is not accompanying me.
Oh.
No, she had to go to this broadcasters convention in Center City. Well, I saw no point in staying in the apartment looking at the four walls, so I decided to give myself a much-needed rest.
Please, please, spend some time with us. I mean, we could take the opportunity to get to know each other better.
Perhaps you and I could play a round of golf together.
Golf is not my game, Mr. Swift.
You know, I don't know why we're making all these plans, because as soon as the day comes and we're at the door, you're going to get a phone call, you're going to have to go to the office, and you know this whole thing will be put off.
I'm going to do my best not to disappoint you. As far as I'm concerned, the weekend is on.
Excuse me. I wish you enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Mr. Dorn, when you have a minute to talk, let me know. I think I figured out a way to get rid of Mr. Antoine.
You tell him we'll pick him up so the four of us go out to dinner.
No.
Come on.
Thank you, but some other time. I really still have some work to do.
Oh, you apple polisher, you.
Miles! Margot is treating me very nicely, and I just want to make sure she knows I appreciate it.
Well, I guess I can't fault you for being conscientious.
Besides, I'm not the only one Margot's been nice to lately. Nicole told me that Margot made her a very attractive offer this... Oh, you didn't tell him yet.
Oh, I was just about to.
Miles, Margot has asked us to be her guest for the weekend.
Guests? Where? What, in the guest room of her penthouse apartment? I think I'll pass.
No, at a place called Palace Park.
What's Palace Park?
It's supposed to be a lovely country inn with good food and all sorts of recreational activities.
Yeah, Margot was planning on spending the weekend there with Elliot.
Well, look, if they want us to accompany them, we can certainly pay for ourselves.
Oh, no. Margot and Elliot aren't going.
But Margot made all the arrangements before she realized that she had a prior commitment to this broadcasting convention.
And she couldn't back out of that one.
It's all paid for in advance. And the hotel has a strict policy of no cancellations.
Oh, that's too bad for Margot, isn't it?
Oh, she thought it was sort of silly for the room to go to waste, so the suite is ours for the taking.
And it certainly would be silly to pass up an opportunity like this.
Oh, come on. Mrs. Goodman can take care of Adam for the weekend. Please? Listen, you've been working so hard recently. Weekend away without having to think about your practice would be very good for you.
Well, I guess both of us could do with a little rest, couldn't we, Mrs. C?
Then it's all set.
Just point me to Palace Park.
Ed, just want to let you know I was on my way home.
Oh, well, wait a second. Aren't you going to tell me what happened?
Oh, you mean my get-together with Mr. Seward?
Yeah.
Well, he painted a very attractive picture of what life in New York might be like.
I'm sure he did.
As a member of the firm of Seward, Paxton, Whiteside, and Carr.
Mike, you're kidding. You mean he offered you a senior partnership?
It was a very flattering offer.
Yeah. When did you say you would let him know?
Oh, I already gave him my answer.
Well?
15 years ago, I probably would have jumped at the opportunity. But Monticello's my home. I have no intention of leaving.
Well, how did he react to being turned down?
Well, he seemed genuinely disappointed. Thought I might be acting hastily, considering the magnitude of his offer.
Well, let's face it, it's not every day you get to join the most prestigious law firm in the country.
Draper, I'll tell you what I told Mr. Seward. One reason joining his firm was less attractive is because, as far as I'm concerned, I'm affiliated with a very fine law firm right now.
Mike, thank you. I feel the same way.
See you in the morning, Draper.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Carr and Scott. Scott speaking.
Oh, well, just the man I wanted to talk to.
Who is this?
Philip Seward, Mr. Scott, and I'm glad you're still there.
Mr. Seward, Mike just walked out of the office. Is there anything I can do for you?
Well, you wouldn't happen to have some free time right now, would you?
I beg your pardon?
Well, I'm at a place not far from your office. It's a watering hole called the Gavel. I'd like to buy you a drink.
Well, I appreciate your offer, but I don't see why you would...
I won't take up much of your time, Mr. Scott. I really would like to talk to you.
Look, Mr. Seward, excuse me, does this, have something to do with your discussion with Mike?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, it does.
Well, Mike told me, about your talk, and he told me that he turned down your offer. So if you think that you can talk to me and get me to change his mind, I'm afraid you're wrong.
No. I'm sure that Mike was perfectly sincere when he said that he wasn't interested. I mean, I know there are lawyers that say no just to up the ante, but, well, I'm sure Mr. Carr isn't like that.
No, he's not.
No, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Carr has taken himself out of the ball game. What I would like to talk to you about over that drink, Mr. Scott, is you. We live in an age of mobility, Mr. Scott. That's why I never hesitate to ask an attorney if he's willing to relocate.
Well, sounds like you do this sort of thing quite often.
Oh, no. I'm not really a headhunter.
Thank you.
But every few years, I find it necessary to go outside of Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside to find new blood.
Like you did with Mike Carr?
Oh, no. It's very unusual for one of our senior partners to leave us, but then one did. Of course, we want to replace him with the best possible man.
Well, you couldn't have done any better than Mike. But frankly, for selfish reasons, I'm glad he turned you down.
Yes. Well, for my selfish reasons, I hope you will seriously consider the offer I've made you. Now, of course, it cannot bring a senior partnership at this time. I mean, your youth makes that impossible.
Wow. I never expected one this soon in my career.
But there are other benefits that I can promise you. Now, a great deal more money than you're making at the present time. A steady stream of important cases. And the management of a full department at Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside. And in time, well, perhaps that partnership I offered Mr. Carr.
Wow, that's a terrific offer. But frankly, well, I feel the same way Mike does about...
About relocating? Yes, I know. Well, you see, most people do, at first. I mean, they think of their family and their friends, their homes.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do have a home. A brand new one. We just moved in. And, of course, I have my friends here.
But not much family, as I understand it.
No. Just a wife. A wife and some in-laws. And a mother-in-law.
And you would find it difficult to leave them?
Well, my wife is very close to her brother and his wife. And she's involved with her mother. Very involved.
Well, how's that one look, all right?
Looks fine to me, April, really. You're a much better typist than you realize.
Oh, thank you. Slow. Can't tell you how many times I had to type this over just until it was perfect.
You know, you're not hired as a typist. You're Margot's personal assistant.
Well, I understand that, but Winter did a lot of Margot's typing. She told me she did. Do you think maybe it would help if I took a refresher course?
Listen, speaking of refresher courses, don't you think it's about time for us to get out of here? You got to be back here by 9:30. It only gives us a couple of hours for our leisurely dinner.
I'm ready. Just as soon as I talk to Greg about the tapes I'm going to need for tonight's show.
I knew there'd be something else.
Well, it's only going to take me about 10 minutes.
Well, is there anything I can do to help?
No. You should, if you asked me, be getting ready to leave. Didn't you say that Draper was going to pick you up in a minute?
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
You know, if he gets here in time, maybe we can make it a leisurely dinner for 4.
Sure.
That's okay with you, Doctor?
Yes, it's okay with me as long as I get something to eat. That's all. I haven't had any food since, well, my hospital cafeteria breakfast. That's an experience I sort of like to forget about.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Poor baby. Sounds like you're back to working like a mule again.
Oh, listen, mules don't use stethoscopes. I didn't mean that to sound like a complaint, anyway. I had no illusions about medicine when I went into it. I knew it was not a light profession.
Well, I will tell you that I'm very glad for your sake that Margot made you and Nicole that offer to spend the weekend at Palace Park. I'm sure it's just what the doctor would order.
Well, couldn't do any harm.
Oh, come on. You will absolutely love it. Just think. A whole weekend with nothing to do but maybe play golf. How about tennis? Swimming? Or maybe just lying by the pool, being waited on hand and foot. Now, come on. I think everyone needs that kind of treatment now and then.
I'm not going to disagree with you. As a matter of fact, I'm beginning to look forward to it. Believe it or not, I enjoy not working once in a while.
Oh? Well, good. You know, I think there might be something else that you can accomplish while you're up there besides having a good time.
Really? What would that be?
Well, Elliot is going to be there.
Oh. You think we ought to entertain him? Is that it? Well, I suppose you're right. Suppose it'd only be common courtesy to ask him to join us, maybe for dinner, once.
Well, that wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I thought, since he'll be there alone, maybe you could take advantage of the opportunity and, well, maybe talk to him privately.
Talk about what? Oh. You mean this business of him carrying on with his maid?
Well, that wasn't what I meant. No, that was what I meant.
April, do you honestly think that Elliot Dorn would appreciate my giving him that kind of friendly advice?
Well, you are a friend of Margot's.
Friend or not, I don't think I have the right to go horsewhipping her straying husband.
Come on, I didn't mean that you should beat him up or anything. I just thought maybe if you could talk. All right, forget it. Forget it. You're right. It's a silly idea, and I'm sure he would resent your talking to him. If nothing else, he would sure resent knowing that I told you.
Listen, April, I don't think that Margot is quite as blind to Elliot's faults as you think she is. As a matter of fact, it seems to me that she may have decided to accept the man the way he is, warts and all. And if that is the case, then I think you ought to respect her decision.
Why do you have to be so right all the time? I'll tell you one thing, though. If Elliot doesn't keep to his promise about not seeing Sarah anymore, well, then I don't see any reason why I shouldn't tell my own mother the truth.
Here we are, Mr. Dorn. Picked this up at a stationery store this afternoon.
Are you sure this scheme of yours is going to work?
It's foolproof, Mr. Dorn. If you do it correctly. You'll be rid of Mr. Antoine in a month, maybe even sooner.
Well, then, let's get the ball rolling.
Why not?
Hello, who's this? Hans? Is Mr. Antoine on the premises? I see. Well, tell him to come into my office as soon as he gets back, okay? Well, Mickey, this is quite an ingenious scheme. How did you think of it?
I've seen guys kicked out of joints for less.
Believe me, I would love to do the kicking personally in this case.
Listen, how did you let this guy get where he is in the first place? I mean, this is your joint. You should have the last word about how it's run.
You see, Mickey, my wife's financial interest in the Unicorn gives her a certain right of decision. That's why I have to do things in a roundabout way, you understand?
Now, me, I like the direct way.
Yeah, you seem the type. Tell me, Mickey, what are your ambitions, if you have any?
Comfort, Mr. Dorn. Nothing but comfort. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's the most important thing in life.
Yeah, very few people are willing to admit it.
I'm willing. You give me a shot at being comfortable, I'll do just about anything.
Well, comfort invariably requires money. You won't get much of that working behind a bar, will you?
I'm not worried about money right now, Mr. Dorn.
Oh, you certainly are unusual, Mr. Dials. Oh, here's our friend coming now.
Well, I'll get out of your hair. Oh, listen, don't forget the notebook. It's important.
I won't, Vicky.
Elliot, you wish to see me?
Yes, Antoine, please come in.
Look, I'm very busy right now. There are several
No, it won't take long. Have a seat.
Elliot, if you've called me in here because you have some more complaints to make, I have a few of my own. To start with, I understand that you are planning on taking a weekend off, and you are leaving your friend, that bartender, out there in charge of the Unicorn.
Antoine, I really do not wish to talk about that. I had something pleasanter in mind.
What could that possibly be?
Oh, but your income, Antoine. I want to talk to you about a raise.
What?
As you know, Antoine, I did promise you a raise as soon as the Unicorn got into the black. Well, we're almost there, even though our margin of profit is still very small.
Elliot, exactly how much of a raise did you have in mind?
Not so fast, Antoine. You see, if I just simply increased your salary by, let's say, 7%.
7%? That's ridiculous. It's preposterous. 7% of chicken feed is just a little more chicken feed.
Antoine, there are such things as wage and price guidelines. And you have heard of the inflation problem, haven't you?
Elliot, I don't understand any of this stuff. But if you are telling me that you want to make Washington the culprit, you want to use Washington as the pretext not to give me the money that I deserve, then I'll just go see Margot and let's see what she has to say.
Take it easy, Antoine. You haven't heard me out. What I'm suggesting is something that could make both of us very happy.
I can't conceive of anything that could produce such a miracle.
Antoine, I would like you to have all the money you need. But let's face it. If I were to increase your salary by even, let's say, 50%, how much of that would you really keep?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about taxes. Do you know how much I have to take out of your paycheck every month? For Social Security this and withholding that?
Oh, don't I know it? It's dreadful.
Now, the Unicorn is still not a horn of plenty. And since you'd be giving Uncle Sam most of your increase anyway, why don't we do this? Why don't you just simply take cash? Straight from the cash box.
You mean whenever I needed money, I could just reach in and take whatever?
Oh, Antoine, I'd expect you to be reasonable about it, of course. I don't want you to take all the money. But, you know, sometimes when you need, let's say, $10, $20, even $50, you just help yourself. You know, you'll reduce the total intake of the Unicorn, which will reduce the taxes of the Unicorn, which will make me very happy. And you'll have tax-free money in your pocket. Now, isn't that sweet?
I really don't understand any of this. But somehow it just doesn't... Well, it doesn't sound quite right.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Antoine. As a senior member of the firm, you have the right to do such things.
Well, there has to be a limit, Elliot. I mean, if you took what you wanted and I took what I wanted whenever we wanted, there wouldn't be any profits. Profits? there wouldn't be any money left to pay the bills.
I only take small amounts of money, I can assure you. But you just take what you need. All you have to do is to let me know how much.
How would I do that?
Simple. You keep a diary.
A diary?
Yes. You just jot down the date and the amount you took. And every week you just hand me this little book so I can know how much is gone.
Well, it sounds simple enough, but is it legal?
Oh, my dear Antoine, there is no way for Uncle Sam or the IRS or the FBI or the CIA, for that matter, to know how many bills come into a cash box and how many bills are removed. This kind of thing is done all the time. What do you say?
Well, if that's the way you want to handle it, Elliot, and I wouldn't have to report it?
Of course not.
No taxes?
Not a penny.
I like that. You know, I love cash. Oh, yes. Did I tell you I hate credit cards? Oh, I hate them. But cash, it's real. Listen, Elliot, I have to go back to work.
Yes, yes.
Look, have a lovely weekend.
I will.
Divine, don't you just love the colors? So do you think that the shoulders are too bare?
The answer is yes to all three questions.
Now, look at this. Can't you just see me at Palace Park in this little number?
You know, she's not going to be able to see you at Palace Park, so why don't you just sort of model it for us now?
Right. No, my dears, there really don't have any time for a fashion show. I just dropped by to see how you were and to find out if you were still planning your trip this weekend.
We are definitely going, as you can see.
We're so sorry you can't come with us. We're going to have such a good time. Besides, I could probably use your company. I expect my famous husband will be on the phone half the time.
Well, now, Raven, if you really feel the need of company, perhaps I will go with you. Raven, don't look so worried. That was only an idle thought. I really don't have time to rearrange my life and my schedule on such short notice.
Well, I think it's a very good thought, so I will do the rearranging. Call Palace Park right now.
Wait a minute, now don't be silly. It's very difficult to get reservations. And when I called 2 weeks ago, we were very lucky to get ours.
Well, we might be luckier still. There might be a last-minute cancellation.
Well, it wouldn't matter if there were, Logan. Thank you very much. But the idea is clearly out of the question.
All right.
You see, I have a dinner party this Saturday with some of my political friends. And the subject I'm hoping they'll discuss is you.
Me?
Well, the party has to nominate a candidate for your office this month. And naturally, I assume it will be you.
Well, I wouldn't assume that if I were you. As far as this administration is concerned, I'm tainted by this whole Winter Austin affair.
Oh, my dear, they'd be foolish to drop you for some unknown. In any case, I may be able to get the drift of things.
Oh, that's very kind of you. You're a very kind woman. Heck of a babysitter.
And I would have gladly offered you Jamie, except that you told me yourself that you were too busy this weekend.
What I said was, I was hoping you could find a weekend retreat that would accept children. I think it's wrong for you to be away from that baby for the whole weekend.
We were gone longer on our honeymoon. Come on, if you keep this up, my husband is going to change his mind about taking me.
No. We're definitely committed. I sent him the money.
Of course, Logan, if you did change your mind, you could go with me to that dinner party and do a little fence mending of your own.
Oh, no, you don't. I am not going to spend this glorious weekend in a room with a bunch of politicians.
You know, I heard it's going to rain this glorious weekend.
It is not going to rain this glorious weekend. It's going to be perfect, and we're going to spend the entire weekend outside in the fresh country air.
And I'm sure Jamie would have loved that.
Jamie is also going to spend the weekend in the fresh country air because he is going to Oakdale with April and Draper. So you see, I've thought of everything.
You usually do, my dear.
Jamie is going to have just as good a time as we are, I assure you.
Well, I wasn't thinking of the fresh air so much, Raven. I was thinking that it would have been very good for Jamie to be with both his parents this weekend for a change.
He'll be very happy with April. She absolutely adores him.
Yeah, I'm not sure Draper's so crazy about the idea, though.
He'll do anything she wants. April has him wrapped around her little finger. And Jamie has April wrapped around his.
I see.
Poor April. She would have been a wonderful mother. It's too bad she can't have any kids. Guess she'll just have to do with a substitute. But just once in a while. That's all I mean.
I'm all set. Sorry it took so long.
That's all right. April and I had a nice little chat.
Well, as you can see, Draper isn't here yet, so there goes our foursome.
What time did he say he was going to pick you up?
Oh, around 7-ish. What time is it now? 7:45?
Yeah, we better get going. Come on.
Yep.
Oh, hi.
Huh, just in time. You almost missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime.
And what opportunity is that?
Join us for dinner. Only if you want to, of course.
I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to afford to linger over a dinner table tonight. Some things I have to do.
Uh-oh. Sounds like I'm going to get a cold sandwich for dinner.
Look, you were the one who wasn't free for dinner earlier, remember?
Well, remember, it wasn't my fault.
Some things just came up.
It's all right. It's all right. Forget about it, Draper. We'll all do dinner together some other time. We'll plan it in advance, all right?
That's terrific.
Yeah, well, I'll say goodnight then.
See you tomorrow. Nicole. Have a good dinner.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye. Why didn't you want to have dinner with Miles and Nicole?
Because I want to have dinner with you all by myself.
Why?
Because I love you and adore you.
Oh, something tells me there's another reason.
Well, there is. There's something I want to talk over with you, something very important.
Something that you couldn't talk about in front of Miles and Nicole.
That's right.
Okay, well, come on. What is it? Don't just stand there. Give me a hint.
It's a job offer.
What?
April, I got a terrific job offer tonight with another law firm.
Now, wait a second. You're kidding. You're not really thinking of leaving Mike, are you?
Well, this Philip Seward didn't come down to see me specifically. He came down to see Mike to see if Mike were interested.
The same position.
Well, yeah, it's the same job, but it wouldn't carry as much weight if I took it. You see, they offered Mike a senior partnership. His name was going to be right up there on the door. Can you imagine that? Having your name alongside Seward, Paxton, Whiteside.
Well, who are they?
Who are they? One of the most prestigious law firms in the country. They handle the biggest corporations, the most important Washington...
Wait a second. Draper, you're not even that kind of lawyer.
I know, I'm a criminal attorney. But the man who headed up their criminal department retired.
Headed up? You mean the whole division?
Well, Seward said that he couldn't give me a full partnership right away, but in the future, the very near future.
Wait a second. What's so terrific about all this, though?
April, I'm not talking about some little two-man firm here in Monticello. I'm talking about a New York firm with a couple of dozen attorneys.
New York? You mean, you didn't tell me it was out of town?
Well, the firm has no need to open a branch here in Monticello.
Well, Draper, I thought that's what this was all about, that they were going to open a...
No, April, the firm is in New York. April, it's a terrific job, the best job I've ever been offered, a dream job.
Well, that would mean moving. That would mean leaving our new home, our family, friends.
April, people relocate all the time. Hey, come on now. Aren't you impressed? I mean, aren't you really glad that I was even offered this kind of job?
Well, sure, yeah. Of course I'm impressed. Draper, I'm also a little scared. Afraid that you might want to accept it.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind. And frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts trying to hold the tenderness that we once had, halfway glad
Guthrie is here, sir.
Do you mind telling me where you've been this afternoon?
Why? Something happened?
No, nothing happened. Just surprised to come home and learn that you'd been out of the house.
I told your daughter where I was going. Sorry, Mr. Madison. I had to go to headquarters to get a police permit. To carry this.
Jed, it's impossible. I couldn't even get away, even if I wanted to.
You still trust me, don't you, Paige? You know I had nothing to do with what happened in that disco.
I know that.
Look, the only reason I disappeared was because I knew there'd be cops around. They'd have picked me up for sure.
I realize that, but that's not the reason why I can't get away tonight.
Paige, it has to be tonight. It's the only night Tobias can make it. You've got to meet us. For his sake.
How much I want to see Tobias, but I just can't get away after what happened. My father won't even let me out of his sight. Jed, I have my own personal bodyguard.
A bodyguard? You mean a cop?
Yeah, that's exactly what he is, an ex-policeman. I mean, I can't go anywhere or do anything without him.
Well, you're a smart girl, Paige. I know you could give him the slip if you tried.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know if I want to. I'm kind of glad he's around. I'm glad somebody's protecting me because I don't know who it is who's trying to kill me, and I'd like to think it wasn't anyone with the group.
It isn't, Paige. I swear it. Now, look, you know Tobias would never let anybody hurt you.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't think he'd be able to stop them. I mean, they may be angry at me and try and be worried that they get in trouble. Oh, Jed, I don't know what to think.
Just as long as you trust me. And Tobias.
Yeah, I do. You're both my friends.
Well, then don't disappoint us, huh, Paige? Just think of a way.
Oh, just a minute. Yeah.
Miss Madison, your father asked if you could please come downstairs.
All right, I'll tell him I'll be there in just a couple minutes.
Yes, miss.
I gotta go.
Paige, will you try? Will you just try to think of some way to meet us? Tobias will be gone in 24 hours. He may never be back.
All right, I'll try. Goodbye.
And that's all I can find out, Mr. Madison. Police are going to maintain full protection for your daughter as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, well, there's really no such thing as full protection, is there?
There's no guarantees, no. All you can do is hope to reduce the odds as much as possible.
Yeah, well, that's why I hired you, Mr. Guthrie, to reduce the odds.
Yeah, and I told you I'd do the best job I can.
The thing that worries me most is, I mean, how many possible assassins are there out there?
Well, we know that 2 of them are dead.
Yeah, but how many are left? When's this damn nightmare gonna end?
When we can catch them all. When we can put them all behind bars, I guess.
Hello.
Oh, hello, honey.
How are things down at headquarters, Steve?
I guess this is my headquarters now.
Well, did they treat you okay? They let you have your old police revolver back?
No. I had to buy a new one.
Well, can I see it? Oh. Never mind. I don't think I want to see another gun or knife or any other blunt instrument again.
Yeah, well, listen, why don't you come and join us for dinner tonight? Huh? You didn't have any lunch today.
Well, you know, Dad, I'm dieting. I want to be the thinnest target they ever saw.
You're developing a rather morbid sense of humor.
It's the only kind I can develop.
Paige, I want to talk to you for a couple of minutes about the ground rules.
Uh-oh. Now, I should have known that's what was going to happen when Louise called me down here. Time for a lecture, right?
Yeah, well, I want to get a few things straight, how I want this to work.
Now, please listen. This is necessary.
All right. I said I was going to be a good little girl, didn't I? Go ahead, Mr. Guthrie. I'm listening.
Okay, well, that's the first thing I want you to do. Listen to me on all matters concerning your safety. Now, from now on, you're not to make any decisions without asking me and getting my okay, all right?
You sound just like my old governess. Daddy, do you remember Mrs. Mustache?
Her name was Wilton.
I know, but I called her Mustache because she had one.
Paige.
I always thought she was a spy.
Paige,
Sorry.
please. Look, now, I want to know your whereabouts at all times. When you go to bed, when you have breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Oh, God.
I know it sounds like I'm invading your privacy. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I promise I'll try not to. I gotta know where you're gonna be.
What about, leaving the house?
I'm afraid you can't do that. Not alone.
Well, I don't think she should leave the house at all. Well, not for a while, not until the police have had a chance to round up those people.
Oh, that's impossible, Daddy.
Honey, the house is the safest place for you.
No.
Especially with the police out there patrolling the area.
Wasn't that long ago you were urging me to leave the place?
Well, I didn't know what danger you were in then.
Paige, your father has a point. If you manage to stay at home for a while, it'll be a lot better.
Yeah, but how long is a while, Steve? Look, it may take the police more than a few days to round up these people. You know, I only gave them 3 identifications, and who knows how many people are out there.
Will you just be reasonable about this?
Look, Daddy, are you telling me that I'm going to be a prisoner in my own house, that I won't be able to go anywhere or do anything?
No, of course not.
Because if that's the case, everything's going to get a little crazy around
Paige,
here.
it isn't going to be easy. You're not going to be able to lead a normal life for a while. Now, look, you got yourself into this. Now, it's time you started taking responsibility for your actions, all right? Now, what do you think, Mr. Guthrie?
Well, I don't think she has to be a prisoner. I think she has to be careful. And we can't let anybody know where she's going, so she won't walk into a setup.
Oh, yes. Now, that makes sense, doesn't it? Hmm?
And if she's going out, she's going to have to get used to one thing.
What's that?
I get to be your date. If you have another date, we'll just have to make it a threesome.
A foursome. What about your gun?
Davy Rogers, approximate age 24 or 25, approximate height 5'11", blue eyes, dark brown hair, has a full beard.
He could have shaved it off since Paige saw him last.
That's possible.
Yeah, it seems to me that name Davy Rogers could be a phony as well. I mean, we have no way of telling if the girl's telling the truth any more this time than she was the last
I
time.
don't know, Calvin. She's got to be telling the truth. I mean, after what happened at disco, it must have scared the hell out of her and scared some sense into her.
Well, I hope so, for her sake.
Next one is Arcady Jones, or maybe it's Arcady. It's A-R-K-A-D-Y. Approximate age 22, approximate height 6'1", brown eyes, dark blonde hair on the thin side, scar on his right cheek. Incidental data, plays the guitar, sometimes sings with a rock group. Violent temper.
Mm-hmm.
Arcady, I wonder how violent he is.
The last one is Charles Nathaniel, called Chuck. Approximate age 21, approximate height 6 feet. Heavy set, muscular. Wears grandpa glasses, drives a motorcycle. Carries a knife in his boot. Very macho type. And that's it.
Well, seems to me the only thing we don't know about these characters is where they are.
Yeah, they could be anywhere in the country or out of it.
Well, we're not the only ones on the search, you know. The crime they committed was a federal offense, which means the FBI is involved. Though so far, nobody's tried to contact me.
Well, it seems to me we ought to focus on Monticello, don't you? I mean, if these guys are anywhere, they've got to be right here.
Because of Paige Madison.
Looks like a vendetta to me, after all those attempts on her life.
Well, we haven't identified the 2 dead men as members of the gang. Matter of fact, we haven't identified them, period.
No, but I kind of think it's reasonable to assume that they are members of the gang and that the others aren't going to quit trying.
In spite of the lesson they've had?
Well, Chief, they seem pretty determined to me.
I tell you, they took an awful lot of chances in their attempts on Paige Madison's life.
They're trying to stop her from testifying.
Yeah, but they haven't. All they've succeeded in doing is proving that she's got enemies, that's all.
Yeah, and that's one thing I hope that girl realizes. I'm not so sure she does.
Well, I still think the hot spot for these 3 is Monticello. That Davy Rogers, Arcady Jones, and Charles Nathaniel.
Lord knows who else.
Let me ask you something. Do you know whether or not Steve has officially started his job with the Madisons?
Well, I think he's there right now, Chief.
Well, kind of funny in a way, you know. I mean, you know, your 3 musketeers are kind of back together again.
Oh, how do you figure that?
Well, even though Steve's not on the force anymore, he's involved in this case.
Yeah, but he's a bodyguard, not an investigator.
Yeah, we're not really officially assigned to the case either.
Well, you've been in the thick of it, though, both of you. Deborah, you've gotten to know the Madisons pretty well, haven't you?
I've met them.
And it seems to me that you've saved Paige Madison's life a couple of times already, Calvin.
I'm afraid that's just a classic case of the right place at the right time, Chief.
So I want to talk to both of you about it. You know, we've got a lot of cops on this case. But I think what we need is a liaison between us and the Madisons. So, supposing we make this assignment official.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Well, do we have a choice?
No, you don't.
Well, in that case, happy to oblige. Anyway, it might be kind of nice getting to know the Madisons, and especially seeing one of their employees, eh?
Oh, this is beautiful. Is it real silk?
It's satin, darling. Good old slinky satin. But don't put it in the closet. My slinking days are over.
You didn't wear this in a movie, did you?
No, Louise. All my old movie costumes were donated to the Smithsonian Institution.
Really? Oh, you're joking, aren't you?
Oh, if you find a red jersey dress with long sleeves, leave it out. I'm going to wear it this evening.
Oh, you're planning on coming downstairs tonight.
I think it's about time. I'm beginning to feel like Mr. Rochester's wife.
Who?
You know, Jane Eyre's boyfriend, the one who kept his mad wife in the attic.
I never saw that movie.
I believe they made a book out of it, too.
You weren't in that movie, were you, Mrs. Madison?
No. I decided to let Joan Fontaine do it. Wasn't that nice of me?
It must have been so exciting being a movie star. I mean, all those premieres and parties. Don't you miss it?
Did you find that red dress, Louise?
Oh, is this the one you need?
Yes, that's it.
May I come in?
Of course, darling.
Surprise from the garden.
Oh, how lovely.
How about that?
Thank you.
Well.
Oh, and Louise, you can finish that up later.
Yes, ma'am.
Louise. Well, see you're settling in.
Yeah, it's about time, isn't it? Do you realize I've been here for days and I haven't really unpacked? Oh, by the way, I'm coming down to dinner tonight, if that's all right with you.
Well, I'd like nothing better.
How's Paige?
Oh, she's bearing up. She's downstairs with her bodyguard. I think we've really chosen somebody pretty competent down there. You know, good choice.
Yes, well, he looked pretty young to me. I wonder if you shouldn't have gotten someone older, Owen. Or at least someone not quite so pretty.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, you know, proximity. No, Paige is a very attractive young woman. And he is a handsome, single young man. He is single.
Yes. Nola, I'm just not interested in any romantic involvements at the moment. What I'm trying to do is protect my daughter's life.
Yes, well, you know, I can't help wondering if you're going about it in the right way.
What else can I do?
Well, I've been thinking about that, Owen. Owen, have you heard what the FBI and people like that do with key witnesses?
No? What do you mean?
Well, I saw a documentary on the subject just a few weeks ago. When people testify against gangsters and so forth, I mean, when they risk their lives because of reprisals, they give them new identities.
Well, I think Paige is probably very happy with her old identity.
Yes, but her old identity is in danger. If this gang is absolutely determined to assassinate her, that's what they'll do. Surely you know that.
I don't know anything of the kind.
Now, sooner or later, one of them is going to get through that police barricade out there. One already has. And no matter how many personal bodyguards you hire, those people find some way to do it.
Nola, I'm just not going to listen to this, all right? You're just too damn pessimistic.
Look, I'm trying to be reasonable for Paige's sake. I think she should change her name, her appearance, everything, and move someplace where she won't be in any danger.
Mm. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
What?
You'd like for Paige to change her identity and not be my daughter anymore. I'll see you downstairs.
Owen!
What made you decide to join the police force? Well, I would have thought that after the Army you would have had enough of regimentation.
I don't know if I know the answers to that. I hadn't been out of the service more than a couple of weeks. Hadn't even spent all my separation pay. I saw this examination that they were running so you could get into the police force. So I decided to take it.
And passed with flying colors?
Nope. Flunked with flying colors. Paige, you want to get away from that window, please? I guess I didn't take it very seriously. I didn't know they demanded so much. That made me more determined than ever to get on the force. Next time around, I did.
So, were you real upset about leaving?
Do you really want to know, or are you just killing time?
Why do you say that?
I don't know. Something about you. You keep asking these questions, and I don't think you want to know the answers.
Well, I think it's important that we get to know each other since we're going to be so close for a while.
Oh, I see.
But I do have a terrific idea. I think that you should take me out to dinner.
Come again?
Well, you said you were going to be my date for a while, so I think you should start by taking me out to dinner. Oh, don't worry about the money. Just chalk it up to business expenses.
Now, Paige, I don't think that's such a good idea.
Well, you were the one who said I wasn't going to be kept a prisoner here, so prove it.
What's your hurry?
I really think it would be nice if we went someplace and had a nice, quiet dinner, and you could tell me all about yourself, and this time, I promise to listen.
All right. If that's what you want, we will.
Thank you.
Only I get to choose the place. That way we'll know nobody's lurking around after you, okay?
Mm-hmm. Name it.
I know this little Italian place called Luigi's.
Huh.
We won't need a reservation. You like Italian food?
Oh, it's my absolute favorite. That's great. Okay, you don't know how much this means to me. I'll be down in just 5 minutes.
Yeah, but are you really sure this is a good idea? I mean, it's only a matter of hours since that last attempt on her life, and now you're taking her out there again.
Who's to say whether it's safer to be out there now or a week from now?
No, but all
Mr.
the
Madison,
same.
please. I think it's very vital that we have Paige's full cooperation. Or this whole bodyguard idea just isn't going to work. I think the only way we're going to get that cooperation is if we can make her understand, accept this whole situation.
Ah, you're right. I suppose if she feels we're trying to put her in a straitjacket, she'll just do what she did the other night and run out of here without any protection at all.
Exactly. That's why I let her talk me into taking her out to dinner. Don't worry, Mr. Madison. Nobody's going to know where we are. I don't anticipate any trouble whatsoever.
He's taking me out to some restaurant. I don't know, it's called Luigi's. That's all I know.
The restaurant section right here. Luigi's. Here it is. Luigi's Italian Restaurant, 44 Sycamore Street. It's the only one listed.
Well, and that's where we're going. Oh, Jack, be careful.
Honey, trust me. So long.
Come on.
Yes? It's Jed. I just spoke with Paige. She's going out tonight to dinner. A place called Luigi's.
I know the place.
Well, we have one small problem. She's not going alone. She's going to bring along a bodyguard. I don't know what I can do about it. The guy's got a gun, and he probably knows how to use it. I don't think it's going to work.
Then make it work. Kill him first.
Hey, 20 cents for the paper. Just in time for dinner. You'll be happy to know that your mother's going to join us.
That's good. How's Paige doing?
Oh, she's doing fine. She won't be joining us this evening. She has a date.
What are you talking about?
Oh, she's going out to a little Italian restaurant with her new bodyguard, Mr. Guthrie.
Out? Are you crazy? You let her go out of this house with all those insane killers after her?
Wait a minute, Brian. There is no way on earth that we are going to keep Paige chained to the dungeon wall. Now, if she's going to go out somewhere, it might as well be with an armed guard.
Well, you shouldn't have let her go. She shouldn't be going anywhere, armed guard or not, until the police catch these maniacs once and for all. Damn it! If anything happens to her, so help me, Dad, you're going to have me to deal with. Here, go in the back door. It'll be a lot safer.
Yeah.
Now, just wait a minute, Brian. Now, look. I didn't like the idea when I heard it first. But now I think it's the best thing to do.
I'd like to know your logic.
Well, it is very simple. Now, none of us know how long that this siege is going to last. And it's just plain foolish to believe that the police are going to round up these gang members as if they're sitting there waiting in a group for a noose to hang over their heads. Brian, they're probably scattered all over the country.
I know that. I just hope Paige's testimony would have...
Her testimony concerns 3 members that she can clearly identify. Now, Paige herself admits that there are others that she can't describe.
All right,
some people she hasn't even met.
Suppose they caught 1 or 2 of these people. Suppose they made them talk.
Do you really think they will? Now, they seem very fanatical to me. They were willing to risk their lives to get at Paige. Now, do you honestly think that they're going to betray each other?
That could happen, Dad.
Well, I hope it does. I hope they round up the whole gang of them. But in the meantime, Brian, we've got to assume that they won't. Well, not for a while, anyway. And during that time, Paige has got to be protected.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Only my idea of protection is obviously different from yours.
But Brian, don't you understand that unless Paige agrees to be protected, it's not going to work? Now, Guthrie's absolutely right about that. Otherwise, we get a repeat performance of what happened the other night, and out she goes. Now, Brian, we have got to win her over to this.
You mean you want Steve Guthrie to start dating Paige, is that it?
Oh, Brian, I didn't say that. For heaven's sake. Now, these 2 are going to be in each other's shadow for God knows how long. Now, don't you think it's a good idea if they got to know each other?
No, not over candlelight dinners.
Well, if that's the way it's gotta go, then why not?
Dad, has it ever occurred to you that you just may be stirring up a romantic situation here?
God, now you sound like your mother. That's exactly what Nola said. Brian, believe me, there's a lot more to worry about than that.
Sure. Well, I think I had the right to be consulted.
Consulted? Why the hell should you be? You weren't even here. You were outside doing your own thing, whatever that is.
I'll tell you what it is, Dad. I was responding to your own request.
My request?
Yeah. That I stop hanging around the house, doing nothing, wasting time. That I start thinking about my future, about what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, and so on and so on.
Well, go on. That doesn't fill me in very much.
All right. I went to see some people. The Royden News Agency. I had a buddy in the Navy whose father runs the branch office here, and I went to see if there were any openings.
What kind of service is this?
Foreign. I thought they could use an ex-sailor, someone who's used to traveling.
Does that mean if you take the job that you will be leaving Monticello?
I'll be leaving the country. That's the nature of the job.
Foreign correspondent, is that it?
Well, they don't call it that anymore. It's, actually, the job I applied for is a little less glorified. It's in ENG.
ENG? What's that?
You still in the business, Dad? Stands for Electronic News Gathering. It's actually very new. Just see me tooling around Europe or maybe Southeast Asia or the Middle East with a Portapac TV camera strapped to my back.
I don't know, Brian. It sounds like a good idea to me.
I thought you'd say that.
Much as I hate to say it, I do think that you're better off somewhere else.
Well, I'll tell you something, Dad. I would be out of this house now, tonight, if I had that job. But I'm not going anywhere until I'm sure Paige is safe.
Here, let me help you with that.
Oh, that's okay. I can handle it.
No, it looks heavy. Nope. See, I can be of some use around here.
Oh, Sanka, you big strong man.
I see, you don't like this weaker sex stuff, huh? Well, let me tell you something. God might have given you chicks equal rights, but he did not give you equal muscles.
That's why they give us judo lessons at the academy. Would you like a demonstration?
No, I don't want to hurt you. Hey, I know a lot about that self-defense stuff. I watch wrestling every night.
Are you all right? Cliff?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Here. Okay?
I'm all right. What's all that stuff for?
I'm looking for 3 men. Arcady Jones, Davy Rogers, and Charles Nathaniel. You know, the 3 guys that Paige Madison described.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. What do you think you'll find him in there for?
Well, it doesn't hurt to look, does it?
Don't you have a computer to do that sort of thing?
We are running a computer check on them. We're getting the records from Washington, if there are any. Frankly, I don't think we're going to turn up with a thing. I think they're all newcomers.
Well, what are you doing this for?
Well, this is a student file of kids who were arrested on college campuses for, you know, rioting, demonstrating, things like that. Thought it might be interesting to take a look.
Yeah, you're right. I remember Paige said she met these guys in college.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can tell them apart, though. They all got long hair, beards, and glassy eyeballs. Oh, I heard that Steve took that job guarding that body.
The job? Yes.
You know, he'll probably marry her. Well, that's always what happens, you know? Spoiled widow rich girl falls in love with big, strong policeman. Of course, that's after he roughs her up, you know, and straightens her out. Tell me, did Steve ever try any of that caveman stuff on you?
Cliff, why don't you go home? You're missing the wrestling reruns.
Well, I was looking for an attractive woman to take to dinner. You know any?
Dinner. Oh, I haven't thought about dinner.
Well, you should think of it, you know? You should think steak. A nice, juicy steak. You should think about a pat of butter rolling down over the sides. Your eyes are getting heavy. You should think...
Come on, babe. Shake a leg. We gotta get out of here.
What's happening?
I just got a call from Steve. He needs us.
Calvin, what is it? Something happened to the Madisons?
Not another murder attempt.
No, I don't know. He didn't call from inside the house. He was outside.
This is a gag, right? Like lions and tigers in the streets of Monticello?
Would you shut up? What happened?
Deborah,
Where
would you
was
just
it?
get your stuff together and let's go?
This is a gag, right? Hey, what is it? You got a button here, you press it, and whenever you need help, Calvin comes running?
Would you stop being so ridiculous, Cliff?
Wait, superior legal mind finds flaw, though. Since when are you still working with Steve? He's off the
Look,
board.
Cliff, you have
Yes,
got
it's a
your
secret.
own office. Why don't you go hang out there? Oh, silly Cliff.
Hey, come on, let me play too, all right? If this has something to do with the Page Madison case, you'd better tell me about it. I'm the guy the DA assigned to the case from the DA's office.
Deborah, come on.
Hey, come on, you guys, let me play, all right? What you got? Guess you won't.
I think we'd better order some food, because if I have another one of these, I'm going to be under those little checkered tablecloths.
Excuse me, sir. I have a nice table for you right here. You ready?
Well, why don't you have a breadstick?
Okay.
How is it?
Delicious. You come here often?
Well, I used to, when I was a cop. The owner is crazy about cops. As a matter of fact, he would hardly ever let me pick up a check. I'm sure that's changed now.
Well, you don't have to worry about that tonight, because I'm picking up the check. I'm so glad to be out of that house. I'd pick it up for everybody in the whole place.
I know you felt rather confined. Sorry about that, Paige. I hope you get over it. Although I'm not sure that our problem will end.
Look, we promised that we weren't going to have any more security lectures. It was going to be a nice, quiet, sociable evening.
Look, I want you to know how I feel about this job. I didn't take this job to make your life miserable. I took it to make it safe.
And well, I want you to know that I resent being tied down to anybody.
I don't think anybody likes to be tied down. Maybe husbands and wives.
Well, those are the most ridiculous ties in the whole world.
Ooh, that sounds like a little bit of Hollywood cynicism.
Actually, I'm a very lucky Hollywood brat. My father only divorced one woman, but she just happened to be my mother, that's all.
Paige, how old were you when you first met your stepbrother?
Oh, Brian? Well, I guess we were kindergarten age, because the families knew each other for a long time, and I was more than 16 by the time Daddy married Nola, and Brian became my stepbrother.
I've always heard that out there you have to have a scorecard to tell who belongs to who.
Whom? Speaking of scorecards, could we please get a menu? I am starved.
Waiter.
Yes. Can I help you?
Yes, can we have a menu, please?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Now, tonight's special, we have chicken valestone. It's very nice. We also have very nice veal bolognese. And if you like a pasta dish, I would suggest the linguine pesto. Very nice.
Sounds terrific, huh? Joe's?
How about a nice minestrone to start?
Well, why does the menu say Joe's when the name of the restaurant's Luigi's?
But it is Joe's, miss. Joe Lombardi, he owns it.
Well, was it changed from Luigi's?
No, miss, never. We were never Luigi's. Always Joe's.
Tony.
Please, look at the menu and I'll come back for your order.
This isn't Luigi's. You tricked me, Guthrie.
Look, don't get so excited. I happen to change my mind, all right? I happen to remember that Luigi's isn't as good as it used to be. We call it Heartburn City.
You're lying.
Look, what difference does it make? We're in an Italian restaurant. You can order the spaghetti or veal
Look, if you had
parmesan.
changed your mind, you would have told me about it in the car.
I didn't think it was that important, do you?
Yes, I do. I don't like being tricked, and I don't like being treated like a spoiled child who can't be told the truth.
Look, pick your pasta. Let's eat.
No, I think I'm gonna go.
Paige, just sit back down here.
Why don't you just get out your gun, detective?
Look, I don't want to attract any more attention, so sit there. Put a lid on it. Now, the whole idea about this dinner date was to
keep a low profile. We don't want to attract any unfriendly strangers.
All right. But I really want you to know I resent what you did.
Why? Why do you resent it? Have I spoiled your plans?
What plans? I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted to get out of the house.
Oh, I see. And it was sort of a deliberate decision, though, wasn't it?
It was a spontaneous decision to get me out of the house. What is wrong with you?
When I told you we were going to Luigi's, didn't you go upstairs? Did you happen to make a phone call to one of your friends and tell them where we might be?
No. You made the phone call as soon as we got here.
That's right. I happened to call one of my friends. Did you call one of your friends, Paige?
No.
Well, here I am. And no applause, please.
Oh, you look lovely, darling.
Yes, Mom, yes, you do.
You know, I can't remember when I wore this dress last. I was absolutely sure it wouldn't fit, but it did. That sort of thing does more for a woman than a year on the analyst couch. Where's Paige?
Out to dinner?
Out? Is that wise?
No, not in my
She's
opinion.
out with Steve Guthrie.
To get better acquainted.
I see.
Well, it was Paige's own idea, and I agreed with it. Knowing that she'd probably sneak out if I didn't. You know what Paige is like.
Yeah, she usually gets her own way, doesn't she?
No, that's not what I meant. I meant that she is like a prisoner in here. And I thought the best way to handle that would be to give her more freedom.
Don't sound so defensive, Owen. I happen to agree with you.
How can you, Mom? Paige is in danger out there.
Oh, don't be melodramatic, Brian. She's with a policeman, isn't she? How much more protected can she be? Anyway, I think it's high time that everybody in this house just relaxed and stopped worrying so much.
Well, don't you think there's reason enough to worry?
Look, ever since I arrived from L.A., I've seen nothing but gloomy faces. I thought we could at least have one happy family dinner this evening.
You're absolutely right. And I'm sorry. Look, dinner will be ready in about 20 minutes. Now, how about a drink? Oh, darling, I'm sorry.
I'd love a drink, Owen. Something tall and cold and soft.
You got it. Brian?
No, thanks.
Oh, have something, Brian. Go ahead. Don't think you'll set me a bad example.
I really don't want anything, Mom, okay?
You know, there are some people who are improved by a drink, and I think you might be one of them. It might help you to stop acting so serious all the time.
I am not serious. I'm just concerned.
Yes, Brian blames me for Paige's impulse.
I didn't say that. I only wish you would have been able to stop her.
Oh, why can't we drop the subject just for a little while? I'm sure Paige would love to have us stop talking about her for a change. And I'm sure she's having a very good time right now. Why can't we?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
And who knows? This might be the beginnings of a romance. I was telling your father a little while ago, this is one of those perfect scenarios. Girl meets bodyguard.
Damn it! Why does everyone in this house always speak in terms of movie plots?
Because we're a movie family, Bob Brian. I wish you were part of the business.
No thanks, Mom. I grew up in Hollywood, remember, or tried to. It's hard to become grown up out there.
Oh, Brian, please. I didn't raise my boy to be a cynic. Oh, come on now. Let's be happy tonight. We're a family, and we're together.
Not a whole family, Nola. There are 4 of us, remember?
Yes. 4.
Of course. So this is what ginger ale tastes like without whiskey.
Was I right about the pasta, or was I right about the pasta?
It's fine. But suddenly I seem to have lost my appetite.
Oh, that's my fault. Look, Paige, I want you to know I don't take chances.
I really don't like the fact that you tricked me. That you deliberately told me it was one restaurant and then took me to another.
Well, I didn't want to let you be tempted to make a rendezvous with your friends again.
Oh,
Look, I happen to care about myself. Now I'm your bodyguard. If they go after you, they go after me. And I happen to be too young and handsome to die now.
Look, if I did get in touch with my friends, it's exactly what they would be, and they wouldn't try to kill me.
I don't think you know who your friends are, Paige.
Well, you're wrong, I do. Some members of the group may hate me, but there are at least two that...
Two of them. You mean Jed, this guy who takes you to a disco and you almost get stabbed?
He had nothing to do with what happened there.
And Tobias, he had nothing to do with it either? Well, we'll see. We'll see tonight.
What do you mean?
Nothing. For someone who doesn't have an appetite, you sure did a number on your linguine.
What are you talking about? What did you do? Oh, my God. You set some kind of a trap, didn't you?
So you did make that phone call.
Excuse me, sir. Your name is Steve Guthrie?
Yes, it is.
I have a telephone call for you.
You stay put. Hello?
Well, you were right, man. He was there just like you said.
I knew it. What happened? Did you get him?
No, he got away. I think he recognized Calvin from the disco. He shot at us the minute he spotted us. Steve, Calvin's been shot.
I appreciate the company and everything, but you couldn't have had more than 2 hours sleep last night.
No, I'm fine. Really? Can I get you anything?
There may be one thing.
Name it.
The phone number of that foxy little night nurse who was on when they brought me in.
You are getting better.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
I'm sorry.
The nurse said I could come in and visit for a while. Hey, how you feeling?
I'm, okay. Although I won't be entering any dance contests for a while.
Yeah, it took the surgeons 3 hours to get the bullet out of his leg.
Yeah, and, this lady decided she was gonna stay outside the operating room the entire time. I finally kicked her out of here when I went up to recovery, and she came back at the crack of dawn.
You would have done the same thing for me.
Calvin, I can't tell you how lousy I felt when Deborah called and said that you got shot.
Yeah, well, line of duty, man.
Yeah, but I'm the one that set you up for this.
Oh, now, Steve, look, you can't think like that.
No, actually, you have turned me on to some pretty good restaurants in your day, old buddy, but Luigi's was one of your worst suggestions. I mean, that place is dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I had a feeling that Paige's friend Jed just might show up there.
Well, you know, your hunch was right on the money. As soon as we walked in that place, we spotted that guy sitting at the end of the bar looking real nervous.
Yeah, and then we went up to talk to him, and he bolted.
Yeah, we ran after him. He got a couple of wild shots out.
Hey, Calvin, I'm really sorry.
You already said that.
No, I mean, I'm really sorry he got away.
Mr. Sensitivity.
Steve Guthrie turns Paige into a clay pigeon, and you give him an Oscar for his performance.
You know, this arguing is senseless. It's over and done with.
Guthrie didn't do anything out of line, Brian.
Dad, if anything would have happened to Paige, it would have been your fault. And the second he suggested taking Paige out, you should have forbidden it.
Brian, it was my idea.
You can't expect Paige to stay locked up in this house forever.
Look, the more Paige goes out, the better the chances are one of those creeps is going to get to her, and she won't be coming back.
Well, that's a cheery idea.
Brian, there is nothing wrong with Steve and Paige going out to dinner. They're going to be seeing a lot of each other. It's a good idea for them to get acquainted.
They could have talked the night away right here instead of some dimly lit restaurant.
Jealous?
Paige, aren't you at least sore at this guy for lying to you, for saying he was going to take you to one restaurant and then taking you to another?
Brian, I lied to him first.
Yes, that's right. It was Paige who was trying to be clever, not Guthrie.
As soon as I found out what restaurant we were going to, I called Jed and told him. I guess it was one of the least clever ideas I ever had.
Don't worry. You don't deserve any medals either. You've been a damn fool.
Why, thank you, Brian. At least I admit it.
See, if nothing else, Paige has learned a valuable lesson. She knows that she can't trust any of these so-called friends again.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that, Dad. Ask her how she feels about Mr. Tobias.
Brian, if you just think about this for a minute, you'll give Guthrie credit for what he did. Not only did he keep Paige out of the line of fire, he set a trap for one of these assassins.
The trap didn't work, though, did it?
But that's not his fault.
Maybe the next one will.
There's not going to be a next one.
How do you know? Dad, don't you see? Steve Guthrie isn't simply interested in protecting Paige. He wants to catch these ex-buddies of hers.
Well, and then what is wrong with that?
That is not the job he was hired for.
Ah,
Brian, you were the one that wanted me to have a bodyguard.
A bodyguard, yes. Not a policeman who's willing to use you as some kind of decoy.
Brian, you know as much about this bodyguard business as I do, which is nothing. Now, as long as Guthrie doesn't tell me how to do my job, making movies, I'm not going to tell him how to do his.
If you had done some listening, Dad, it might not have been 5 years since you made your last picture. I'm sorry.
Guthrie's actions last night were proper. He took every precaution to ensure Paige's safety.
He is playing games with Paige's safety. Can't you see that?
Brian, I thought we were trying to give Paige here a sense of security. Now, the one thing we don't need around here is an alarmist. I don't like your attitude.
Well, I don't like Steve Guthrie's. He's more concerned with helping the police than he is with keeping Paige alive.
Well, there's one thing I gotta give you credit for, buddy. And with some pretty quick maneuvering, you figured out.
Yeah, how did you know that Paige was going to call Jed?
Well, I didn't know for sure. I was over at her house the other day. She got a phone call. She didn't say anything. She just listened. And she hung up. And she claimed it was a reporter.
Yeah, so you figured out that she must have been calling Jed, or Tobias.
Well, actually, I thought she was just being cute.
That girl is her own worst enemy.
Yeah, I think she understands that now. This is one hell of a lesson.
Might have been a last lesson if you'd have taken her to Luigi's instead of Joe's.
Yeah, she was a little overexcited about going out to dinner. I thought we might have company. That's why I decided to call you two.
That's when I dragged Red away from her desk and her new boyfriend.
Shut up, Calvin.
New boyfriend?
Oh, don't listen to him. He's drugged. Cliff Nelson came over to headquarters on business, and he decided to come by and pester me, that's all.
You do that often?
Listen, Steve, if Paige has any doubts about her friend Jed, why don't you ask her to come over to the hospital and look at Calvin's leg?
Oh, I think she gets the picture. Anyway, I think this information she gave Logan is going to be genuine.
Yeah, well, there's one thing for certain. I'm not gonna forget what that guy Jed looks like.
I think we should take this guy alive.
Yeah, I think so, too.
No, what I mean is, Paige told me that Jed was Tobias's right-hand man. Now, if we can't find anything else out about Tobias from Paige, maybe we can from Jed. Hey, are you all right? You in pain?
Only when I laugh.
Listen, you gotta look at the bright side of this. You could get a citation, you know that? Maybe even a medal.
Oh, think of all the sympathy you're going to get from Stars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Everybody's nice to a cripple.
Oh, hey, what kind of talk is that?
Calvin, look, why don't you tell us what's going on? I mean, all you've told us is that it took you a couple of hours to get that bullet out of your leg.
Yeah. Come on, let's have it. What did the doctor say?
Come on, what were doctors? I haven't even seen the doctors. I have seen a few cute nurses, though, and for 50 cents, I'll show you where the linen closet is.
Okay, Calvin, look, would you please be serious for once? Somebody must have told you something.
No, not a word.
All right, then, I'm gonna go find a doctor and get him to tell me.
Wait a minute, what makes you think they'll talk to you?
Well, I'll threaten him with arrest for resisting an officer.
Red, forget it, huh? I'll tell you what they said. The reason it took so long to get the bullet out is because it kind of broke up the whole act in there, you know.
What's that supposed to mean?
I mean, the bone is shattered into a lot of little pieces.
Oh, God. Are they gonna be able to heal it?
How do I know? I'm just a patient. Come on, you guys. What's all the long faces? I mean, it's no big deal. I've always looked forward to early retirement.
Hi.
How are you doing? How was the pool?
Fun. Why don't we play tennis?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
If you have any valuables you prefer not to leave in your room, we do have a vault.
Well, I think we left all the family jewels at home, didn't we?
Very
Yeah,
good,
I think
sir.
so.
Here's your room key.
Lost your pen. Thank you.
And I'll make sure Bellhop takes your luggage up to your room.
Thanks very much.
Enjoy your stay at the Park Palace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, look who's here.
Raven, Logan, hello.
How long you been here? Oh, not long. We just checked in. We were on our way to our room.
Did you know we were coming?
Oh, yes, April told us about your plans.
Oh, April, she was so sweet. She's taking care of Jamie so that we could be here.
Maybe we ought to call them, tell them we arrived safely, and see how Jamie's getting along. Okay?
Logan, we only left Jamie 3 hours ago. The way he worries, you'd think Jamie was made out of bone china.
Still, it would have been nice if he could have stayed with us.
The Kavanaughs have a little boy, and they didn't worry about leaving him for the weekend.
It's never easy to leave him, but Mrs. Goodman's a very competent babysitter.
Well, I think Jamie's in very good hands with Auntie April. You know, she's very good with him. It's a shame that this is the closest she'll ever come to having a baby.
Why don't we register, huh?
Okay. I'd like a drink. There's a bar right over here. Would you like to join us, please?
That'd be a
Sure,
good
why not?
idea.
Okay,
Let me
good.
stash this. I'll be right with you.
I think it's just great the way 2 hard-working men like Miles and Logan take the time out to come here and relax.
Hey, now, it was your idea to come up here this weekend. My party's nominating convention's not that far away. I ought to be back in Monticello mending my political fences.
No, you don't. You can do that Monday morning. Did you have a hard time getting Miles up here?
Well, our plans were a little bit spur of the moment.
Yeah, it wasn't for the generosity of Nicole's boss, we wouldn't be here at all.
Margot and Elliot were going to spend the weekend here. Margot made the reservations, but she forgot about prior commitment she had to a broadcasters convention.
Yes, Elliot told us that. We were at the Unicorn a few nights ago. He said Margot couldn't come, but he's going to come anyway and get a little rest.
listen, with all these residents of Monticello here, you might be able to start your re-election campaign anyway.
Sure, got a sandwich board and a funny hat.
Give a speech in the lobby.
No, I think campaigning in these surroundings would probably be considered cruel and unusual punishment, don't you?
We all are going to have a wonderful time.
Right.
They say this hotel has something for everybody.
I'm going to be on that golf course as soon as we get settled in the room. Hey, would you care to join me?
No, I appreciate the offer, but I think I'll pass.
Well, you don't know what you're missing. I was elected Duffer of the Year at
Yes.
the office tournament.
You wouldn't have any trouble beating me. I'm one of the few doctors who do not subscribe to the idea that if it's Wednesday, I must be on the golf course.
Good for you, because I've never understood men's fascination with taking a bent stick and whacking around a ball into a little hole.
I didn't know you understood the subtleties of the game that well. You can be my partner.
We haven't even checked in yet. Already my husband is deserting me.
I'll only play 9 holes. I promise. That way I'm sure to break 100.
What am I going to do while you're gone?
Look, I'm serious. You can come with me.
Oh, no thank you, no thank you. That is not my game. Waiter?
Oh, yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Could you please bring us over a nice cold pitcher of iced tea?
Iced tea.
Well, if I'm going to dazzle my wife with my blistering serve and my brilliant net game, we better get to the room and change.
Looks like I am going to be the odd person out here.
Oh, I don't have to play golf. We'll find something we can do together.
Nope, no. We came here so you could relax and have a good time, so you go right ahead.
All right, but if we don't get checked in soon, it's going to be time to check out.
Yeah, we better go. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Have a good time playing tennis.
Yeah, have a nice weekend if we don't see you around.
We will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, looks like April was right. It's Old Home Week at Palace Park.
Yes, I know.
Is something the matter?
No, nothing. What?
Well, running into Raven and Logan seems to have upset you a little
Oh,
bit.
listen, it's just that we came up here to get away from all that stuff for a couple of days, and all that stuff seems to have followed us.
This is a big hotel. I bet that's the last we see of Raven or Logan for 2 days.
Well, I wouldn't mind that a bit. Come on.
Enjoy your stay at the Palace Park.
Thank you, I'm sure
Thank
we will.
you very much.
Shall we see what sort of accommodations await us, Mrs. Smith? Huh?
Yeah, but why don't you go on up? I'll meet you up there a few minutes, okay?
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, I saw a pharmacy in the arcade I'd like to go to.
Are you feeling all right? What's wrong?
Oh, no, I'm fine. It's just that I'm sure I forgot my suntan lotion.
You're kidding.
No.
The way you cleaned out the bureau and the closets, I'm sure every possession you own is here.
Logan, if I don't get any suntan lotion, I'll go out there and I'll get burned and you won't be able to touch me.
Oh, well, you go get yourself all the suntan lotion that you need.
Okay.
I will see you in the room. You got the number?
Okay, got it.
Right.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Excuse me.
What can I do for you, ma'am?
I was wondering if my cousin checked in. His name is Dorn, Elliot Dorn.
Let me check. Yes, he's arrived.
Great. What's his room number?
615.
Thank you.
Hello?
615?
That's right.
Hi.
Raven. Oh, great to hear your voice. Where are you calling from?
The phone in the lobby.
For a moment there, I was afraid you'd change your mind and stayed in Monticello.
Oh, no. I wouldn't have changed my mind for anything. I can't wait to see you.
Well, what do you say we arrange an accidental meeting? Let's say in an hour by the pool.
I don't think that's going to be necessary because Logan is going to play golf, and from the sound of it, he'll be gone all day.
You're going to be alone all afternoon.
Well, I won't be with Logan, but I hope I won't be alone.
You have my room number.
Oh, ready to go outside again. You want to go? Oh, well, look, there's Uncle Draper saying, hi, Uncle Draper. I was just asking Jamie how he felt about the suburbs.
Yes, and what does Jamie say?
Well, Jamie says he thinks it's perfect. How about you?
Well, I'll let you know when I start enjoying it.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Look, I know I really meant to be of more help to you, but... Well, Jamie just loves it outside. You know, he's really alert and he loves seeing all the new experiences.
Don't worry about it. When I found out that Jamie was going to be the house guest, I assumed you'd be spending all your time with him.
Well, look, I promise, as soon as he looks the least bit tired, I'll take him up and put him in the crib, see if he wants to take a nap. Well, look, you've got to admit he's about the most ideal house guest we could ever have. The place is a mess, and he hasn't said a word.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna go upstairs and deal with those boxes.
Well, packing or unpacking?
And what's that supposed to mean?
Well, I can't help but feel that one of these days I'm going to walk in here and everything's going to be packed up again and ready to be shipped to New York.
You're putting the cart way before the horse.
I know, but we just moved in here, and even the possibility of moving out again kind of depresses me a little.
April, nothing has been decided. I had one preliminary conversation with Mr. Seward.
I know. But when you told me about the job offer, you sounded like you were ready to hop the first plane for New York.
Well, just the idea that a firm like that is interested in me is exciting. Can you imagine my father's expression when I tell him they've approached me?
Draper, is that what appeals to you about this job? I mean, are you just trying to impress your father? Come on, you have a perfectly wonderful job right here in
I
Monticello.
know that, but a job like this could lead to a senior partnership and a lot of other opportunities.
Well, if it was such a great job, why did Mike turn it down?
Well, in Mike's case, it's different. Mike's been in Monticello for years and years. He'd be leaving a whole slew of established clients behind him.
Hey, come on, you're not doing so bad here yourself.
And I could be doing a lot better. A job like this could put me at the top of my profession. April, in a couple of years, we could have a house twice this size.
Draper, I don't want a house twice this size. I'm happy right here.
Happy? April, you told me that you'd be happier if I were to get more cases like Page Madison and Winter Austin so I could further my career.
Yeah, but I didn't mean as far as New York.
April, this is our chance to grab that brass ring.
Draper, I just can't believe that you are seriously considering leaving all our friends, family, this house for some job?
Not some job, April. It's the job of a lifetime. Look, April, relocating doesn't appeal to me either.
Then why are you even considering it?
Because of the job, April. Look, it's going to be difficult at first, I know that, but we'll make lots of friends.
Kind of like the old friends we have right here.
April, I owe this to myself for my career.
Draper, what about my career?
I worked 10 years to become an attorney, April. Your 2 weeks as a glorified office girl working for your mother doesn't qualify as a career.
It's the beginning of a career, and it's really very important to me. And it obviously doesn't matter very much to you.
Why don't you go outside and play with Jamie?
Calvin's okay. He's resting.
Is he gonna be all right?
He's a tough bird. He'll be all right.
He probably hates me. I mean, I'm the reason why he was shot at.
No, he's not blaming anybody for what happened last night. He was just doing his job.
That's more than I can say for you, Steve. If you'd been doing your job, no one would have gotten hurt.
I'm sorry?
Look, you were hired to ensure Paige's safety, and all you did was put her in danger.
Brian, what do you suggest I do? Put Paige in a room, lock the door, stand outside with a shotgun?
Better that than that stunt you pulled last night.
Is that what you want, Paige? Want me to be your jailer?
No, I just want this whole mess to be over with.
Just what do you plan to do the next time you take her out? Put a target on her back?
Brian, you're trying to make it sound like I don't give a damn about what happens to Paige.
Look, Steve, there are a pack of killers out there just waiting to get their hands on Paige, and you practically sent them an engraved invitation.
Brian, they have been very persistent. And just because they failed, they're not going to pack their bags and go home. The only way we can assure Paige's safety is by making sure we catch these clowns.
Catching these clowns is not your job. We are paying you to make sure nothing happens to Paige until the police can round up that bunch.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
So what you're doing is making sure your buddies are getting some commendations for catching these creeps. Using Paige as bait for your little trap doesn't seem to bother you one bit.
Brian, I'll do what I think is best to protect Paige.
You still got a cop mentality, Guthrie. Now, you want to play cops and robbers, you go back to the police force.
Stop this! Don't you think there's enough tension in this house without the two of you jumping down each other's throats?
Paige, can't you see
I do see, Brian, thanks to Steve. Now, I thought Jed was my friend, and I was very angry with Steve for tricking me. But Jed is out to kill me, and he's very clever. But as smart as Jed is, Steve is smarter.
Oh. I see.
Now, your concern is very flattering, but, Brian, you're wrong. As wrong as I was.
Yeah. I guess it's pretty hard for me to be right in this house, isn't it? Well, you know something? I think it was a big mistake that I came back here at all.
Oh, Brian, that's...
Forget it, Paige. Tell Dad I'll be packed and out of here as soon as I can. Excuse me.